about that very old story. How Jesus came and shed his precious blood for me.
Well, thank you for joining us on Tracy Lynn Ministries today on the Word Network. I am so glad to be here in sunny Fort Lauderdale with a live studio audience. Yes. Oh, yes, yes, and yes, it is on today. Thank you again so much. I know you've been enjoying vintage Dr. Tracy Lynn, but it's time to get into the newness of the now. And I have with me a special guest. I mean, this guest is so special. I have known him for over 18 years. And you know, sometimes as friends, we just want to introduce them anyway, but no. I wrote it down because this is serious business. So I want to introduce to you Mr. Les Brown. I know a lot of you have heard him. You have seen him speak. You've heard about him speaking. But he's got something for you today. He has the answer. Mr. Les Brown has over 40 years as a professional speaker. He received the highest award from Toastmasters and also the Professional Speakers Association. He is also one of the top five. I have to rest there because that's big. Top 5 speakers in the world. Now, who wouldn't want to hear from Mr. Les Brown himself? So I wanted to bring him on to share with my family, to share with my studio audience, and to share with my audience on TV, to bring such a gifted talent. You know, we all know gifts and callings are without repentance, but how many of us can say that we are walking truly in the fullness of what God has placed inside of us? This man is living his dream. When he leaves this planet, and he's got a long time to be here, but when he leaves this planet, this one I know will die empty. He has given all that God has placed in him. He is leaving it here. He is taking nothing with him. He's probably going to get, when he gets the glory, God's going to say, well, you ain't leave nothing. I believe he's going to be one of the only ones that come up there, I mean, super empty. That's a bad man, y'all. This is a bad man, my friend, but the phenomenon and the motivator, the master motivator, the earth shaker, Mr. Les Brown.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Les.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
You're talking about things I've done, I could not help but reflect. I had to speak in Sweden. In fact, I'm doing a world tour with Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines.
Yes.
And I was in Sweden. I had to speak to like over 10,000 people there. And the guy said, I don't mean to be insulting. And you know, we brought you here gladly because, you know, when I speak internationally, I charge $125,000 an hour.
Wow.
But he said, given the condition of your people, how is it you're available to be here in Sweden to speak to us?
Deep.
And when he said that, I didn't expect that. I was dumbfounded. And I said, I didn't know, but I do know. And the fact is that most people are where they are because they don't know that they don't know, and they think they know. And as a result, because of our orientation and our focus and our culture, politicians say, vote for me, and I'll give you a piece of the American pie. Our religious leaders say, do as I tell you to do, and I teach you how to live after you die. Okay? And so what has happened is that one of the goals that I have is training people how to become communicators. We have preachers, and you're a communicator, teaching people how to be effective communicators. President Barack Obama is a communicator.
Yes.
When you can communicate and you can impact people, you can connect with people, you can influence people, you can inspire them and bring the best out of them, the opportunities out of that is just unlimited. And so the goal that I have now, and I've started the Greatness Center, is training, and particularly women, because over 84% of our households are headed up by women. Women and men, how to begin to be effective communicators, how to use technology to generate home-based, generating skills and leads and how to grow your business and to create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. So the Greatness Center is about helping people to get out of their head and into their greatness and have achievement-driven relationships that can help them go to the next level, and not to get people out of poverty, but to get the poverty out of them.
Awesome. That's good. That's good. That's good. Get the poverty out of them.
Yes, it's a mindset.
It
Dr.
is.
Carter G. Woodson in The Miseducation of the Negro said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told, and if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. So the goal of training 100,000 voices of hope, of men and women, everyday people, outside of politics, outside of religion, both, I believe, unwittingly polarize and divide people, and teach them how to, one, to transform our mindsets. Why is that important? We have a mind virus in our community, AIDS, addiction to incarceration, and death syndrome. That when I was a kid, you would be embarrassed to go to jail. Today it's looked upon as a badge of honor. And it locks our young men out from over 80 different professions. And then the next thing is looking at HIV, hood-infected virus. When you look at how the fact that we're all born unique, but most of us die copies. You see a lot of people right now with tattoos. That just came about recently. You know why?
Yes, it did.
When you're in jail, you can't write on the walls. So people that are incarcerated, they have a lot of time on their hands. So guess what they do? They write on each other. So many men have come out of jail with tattoos on them. Now the underground has become the normal. People see it. As we said in kids, monkey see, monkey do.
Yes, yes, it.
One of my granddaughters said she wanted a tattoo. I said, why? It's just me. I said, well, why do all of a sudden this became you? How is, that's an expression of who you are. See, when you get a tattoo, you gotta sit still and somebody got to write on your body.
That's right.
I said, you want to be actively engaged in life, because when you're working, you are moving and you're making a difference. You want to tattoo life. You want to make your mark in life. You want to leave a legacy. Anybody can sit around and let somebody write on them.
Yes.
So the key is, to me, is creating a different kind of culture that's not influenced by the prison culture, but influenced by 100,000 men and women who's speaking life. My favorite book says, death and life is in the tongue. Why? Because most people are speaking death. And so when we have communicators that's speaking life and transforming people's mindsets and teaching them the skill sets to make it in this global economy, because we're going through what is called creative destruction. When I was a kid, you got an elevator, we would say, what floor, please? Elevators were operated manually. Then somebody created technology. You didn't need somebody on the elevator to operate it manually. When I was a kid, you asked a girl, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'd like to be a long-distance operator. Years ago, when you made a long-distance phone call, you had to call a long-distance operator.
Right.
Then somebody created technology that you can call direct. So now that destroyed jobs. When I was a kid, I used to work in a bowling alley. They knocked the pins down. We would jump down and straighten them up. Then somebody created an electronic tray that you no longer needed that. That destroyed jobs. So that's going on. We're going through creative destruction. So people literally have to stay ahead of technology and cheap labor abroad in order to control their destiny. And so teaching people how to communicate that, transforming their mindsets, helping them to expand their skill set, finding a product or service that will be of value to people, and to create collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, people literally can begin to become, as Mother Teresa would say, a pencil in the hand of God and start writing a new chapter in their lives.
Absolutely. They can write a new chapter, a new book. Why do you think people don't see themselves doing great things?
People don't see themselves, most people don't see themselves doing great things because of their mental conditioning and because of their circumstances, and most importantly, because of their relationships. A study was done that shows literally that poverty and obesity are communicated mind to mind. And that if you have a relationship with someone that's obese, even if they're in another state, you have a 41% chance to 161% chance of becoming obese yourself. On the financial side, a study was done by MIT. You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. Now, when I found that out, I got rid of all my broke friends.
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking the same thing.
Yes.
You may not have any friends.
People rub off on you.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, people earn over $100,000, $200,000 a year. Don't hang out with people who make $15,000 and $20,000 a year because they have nothing in common.
That's true.
So what we have to do is look at ourselves and realize we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential. Average people are consumed with entertainment.
Yes.
And so just like a lot of people talk about the Super Bowl. I haven't seen a Super Bowl since Johnny Unitas played for the Baltimore Colts. You know why? I used to, and I called a friend of mine named Steve Skilkin and said, Steve, the game is about to come on. Come on over. I was in Columbus, Ohio. I was a disc jockey on WVKO radio station. He said, I can't come. This is Sunday afternoon. I said, why? He said, I'm working on my goal. Well, Steve had a goal of earning $1 million on his own with the money that his father had left him. So I said, well, you have a staff. They can handle everything tomorrow. He says, no, I'm so sorry. He said, but let me know how it turns out. And when I hung up the phone, I couldn't help but think, here are my two sons at the time, crawling in front of the television set. I'm getting ready to watch a football game, watching other people live their dreams. I was living in Columbus, Ohio, right off Rich Street, poor section, in a doghouse. And the reason I call it a doghouse, because doghouses don't have back doors. One level, no back door, 2 rooms. And I said, wait a minute, Steve Skilkin's father left him over $300 million.
300 million?
300 million. His father built shopping malls in the United States and in Canada. Here he was working on a Sunday afternoon with $300 million in the bank. Here I am behind on my dreams and my bills. Don't even have a back door.
And you gotta watch the game.
I said, something's wrong with this. What I found, average people, they are entertainment driven. They are looking for things that can alleviate their stress.
Yes.
But people that are high achievers, they're busy living their dream.
Yes.
And I turned that television off, and I said, I'm going to do something different. I turned that television off, and I turned on my life. The average person watch more television than wealthy people do because they're entertainment driven.
Yes.
When you are achievement driven,
yes,
then you are looking for ways in which you can achieve your goals. You're engaged in daily action steps that can move you in the direction where you go. You are focused. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. But if you're watching other people live their dreams, then you are now behind on your bills. You wonder how you got there. It affects your mind. Your mind is being programmed by the world. That's why it's important that people develop their minds and create a new financial blueprint for themselves. And that takes a conscious, deliberate, determined effort in order to do that, so that you're not thinking like everybody else, because people influence you negatively and positively. Misery loves company, but so does success. So I encourage people to develop positive relationships. Mama used to say, Leslie, if you run around with 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you'll become number 10. And so I stay away from broke people. You remember Reverend Ike said, the best thing to do for the poor is not be one of them.
Now, when you say that, when you know he wasn't coming over to see the football game, and you thought about that, did something happen even before then? Because you were self-aware of that conversation. Most people would have said, I don't know what his problem is. Why wouldn't he watch the game? I mean, click, and would have kept watching the game. thought about him on his dreams, and it would have been a thought. When that phone hung up, they would have kept watching the game and had no more thought about what he said. Why did it strike you? Had you been coming up to something? Was something already brewing inside of you? Your gifts were stirring up and you were getting uncomfortable? How come that affected you? Because it wouldn't have affected most people.
Because I had quality relationships. Mike Williams, who's out of Coshocton, Ohio, who told me one day at WVKO radio station, I'm walking down the hall, big dashiki and afro and tennis shoes and jeans, and he said, Les Brown, you can do more than be the man about town, Les Brown. Les Brown, you can do more than MC at the Jamaica Club and the Club Utopia and the Pink Pussycat Lounge. You can speak to people and motivate people and inspire people. This is where I used to work. I'm a baby Christian. And so I said, well, what else would I do? He said, you could speak to corporations and organizations. I said, I never worked for a corporation before. I said, Mike, I was labeled educable mentally retarded, put back for the 5th grade to the 4th grade at Douglas Elementary School, south of here in Overtown in Miami. Went to Booker T. Washington High School, failed again when I was in the 8th grade, no college training. I said, I don't know anything about corporations. He said, Les, I'll never forget this. He said, all of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn.
Wow.
You got to be willing to learn. If you're willing to invest the time, one of the things I believe, in order to be successful, you got to be willing to do the things today others won't do.
Yes.
In order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Your business partners that are here watching this broadcast,
yes,
they've made a decision. They've been affirmative. They're saying, I'm willing to engage in a process to learn a system to provide products for people in the United States and around the world that they spend billions of dollars for. I'm going to be an interceding business partner and create an experience with my personality, my passion, with my style, and these products that people buy anyhow, but I want them to buy them from me.
That's
I want
right.
to do market takeaway.
Yes.
I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want somebody to tell me what time to come to work, what time to get off, how long I can be at lunch. I don't want to ask anybody permission to go on vacation. I don't want anybody to have the unmitigated gall to tell me how many days out of the year I could be sick. I believe I can control my future. Here's something I know people are spending billions of dollars for. And so therefore, some of that market has got my name on it. So they are making a decision to say yes to themselves, yes to their dream, and yes to a larger life. That's different.
Wow.
That's uncommon.
It is uncommon. I got to get a shout right there. Hold it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yes. That was good. Thank you.
You like that?
I like that.
All right.
I love that. That was good. So you had quality OQP, only quality people.
Who saw something in me.
Right.
Part of what's important in life is have people in your life, and this is worth writing down, have people in your life who can see what you can't see.
Oh, my goodness.
See, he saw me speaking for corporations.
Yes.
He saw me having a special on public television long before it happened. So you have to have people in your life that when you can't believe, but you believe in their belief in you until your belief kicks in.
Wow. What did he see? Because, like you said, he said that everybody's...
Interesting you should ask that.
Yes.
I asked him, I said, what did you see in me?
Yeah.
I just asked him that about 6 months ago.
And what did he say?
I said, what did you see in me?
Yeah.
He said, I saw greatness in you. And he said, I felt it was my business to stay in your ear until you saw it.
My business. My business.
Yeah.
To stay in your ear until you saw it. So he saw your greatness.
He saw it, and I believe all of us have an assignment. One of the reasons that I'm training 100,000 Voices of Hope. There are certain people that when you speak, and these people in the audience, they have heard your voice. You have what I call an energy signature. And there are certain people, when I speak, they're going to hear my voice.
Yes.
There's somebody that when you speak, they're going to hear your voice. Now, if we multiply the voices of people who become voices of hope, where are they right now? Voices of hope. People that will allow people to get a vision of themselves beyond their circumstances and mental conditioning and say to themselves, I can do that.
Yes.
This is what happens.
Yes.
This is what we do. When we speak, when we're engaged in starting a business, what we're doing is giving a person a glimpse, an experience by being in your presence.
Yes.
Oliver Wendell Holmes said that once a man or woman's mind has been expanded with an idea, concept, or experience, it could never be satisfied to going back to where it was. And so when you speak with your passion and your personality, when you speak and you establish an energy signature that when people in your presence, Disney is what it is because it has an experience. When you look at Starbucks, people pay more for a cup of coffee because of that experience.
Right.
And there's a lady named Dr. Tracy Lynn and her consultants and business partners. Then they have a home party or face-to-face. They create an experience.
Yes, they do.
So all of us are born unique, but most people die copies because they don't know that they were chosen 1 out of 400 million sperm. That they have something special, they have greatness within them. But greatness is not our destiny, it's a choice that we make every day to reach beyond our comfort zone because that's where your power is. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, once a man or woman has done something that they have never done, it gives birth to a part of themselves that they don't know right now.
Now, Les, you're the author of many books. Tell us about some of your books.
Live Your Dreams was the first one.
Yes, it was.
I love that.
Yes.
And It's Not Over Till I Win. The other one is called Up Thoughts or Down Times. And I have two other ones I'm completing this year. I don't want to say right now. That's going to rock everybody.
All right. Okay.
But one of the things I'm excited about is working with you and your business partners.
Yes.
Because we're living in a time where we know anything's possible.
Yes, it is.
And so the books that I'm finishing up now, and I'm also helping others who want to write and others who want to speak and others who want to begin to use their voice to become life coaches or motivational speakers or how to begin to grow their business. At this stage of my life at 68, and you know, she looked behind my ears. I'm not making this up. She said, you look too good for 68. Turn around, let me look behind your ear, because this is where they tightened it up back here. But I believe that when you're in alignment with doing what you love to do.
Yes.
I believe we were not born to work for a living, but to live your making, and living your making will make your living.
Yes.
That keeps you young when you're living on purpose and doing that which you were chosen to do. And I love this. I'm like a little kid.
Yes, you are.
Very few people you see laugh as hard as I laugh.
Yes,
you know?
yes, you do.
Because I'm a happy camper.
Yes, you are. And greatness. And so when Mike Williams told you about 6 months ago, he saw greatness.
He saw greatness. I said, what do you mean by that, Mike? He said, I knew you had something special. And he said, like a diamond in the rough.
Yes.
And he said, all of us need somebody to believe in us.
Yes.
And that's why
that.
what you're doing and this business that you have built, that when your consultants look at someone and say, I want us to explore doing business together, what happens in that process, you're saying to that person, I see something in you.
Yes.
You've got something. Because in order to help a person build a business and to get out of a toxic, abusive relationship or to get off of a job that's toxic and abusive, I read an article, Is Your Job Killing You? That you're saying to this person, you have some potential and I'm willing to work with you. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And what's impatient, that you be patient, that you are persistent, that you don't be stoppable, and you find a way to figure it out to make it happen. Because breaking out of where you are is not easy. It's possible. It's necessary that you give it everything that you've got. You've got to say, I'm all in. It's necessary that you face rejections and people laughing at you and talking about you. It's necessary that you rise above that and take personal responsibility for your life. George Bernard Shaw said, the people that make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. My mother, I remember, she adopted us, seven children. Third grade education, but she said, I'm going to raise these. She said, these will not end up in prison. I remember when I ran for state representative in Columbus, Ohio, And they had fired me for editorializing about police brutality. I used to be very, very vocal and militant in radio. And so they said, Les Brown, there's no way you can win. All the black leaders sided with my opponent, who was a 22-year incumbent, and the district was 65% white. They said, we want to work with you, Les, but you don't have the microphone. You've lost your power. One thing I realized, Mama said, Leslie, you got a big mouth, boy. Your mouth like a refrigerator. You can't keep nothing. I used to tell everything. But it has served me well.
Yes,
Mike Williams told me, Les, it's not over because you don't have that microphone. People know that you're out here. And I used to have a saying when I was on the air, stand up for what you believe in because you can fall for anything.
Yes, you did.
So I came to the radio station. My opponent had over $40,000 for advertising. I had around $600. A guy named Perkins who said, Les Brown, don't worry about how much money he has, but do what you do. And this is the station where I used to work. And he took me to the control room where I sat in there, and they turned the light off. He said, you got 10 minutes to come up with how you're going to spend this $600 on a Friday afternoon. Election is Tuesday. And both newspapers had endorsed the incumbent and all of the community leaders. And so the thought came. I came out, I said, I'm ready, Perkins. He said, what are you going to do? I said, can I use the telephone? He said, yes. He said, let me call my mama. And people knew I always came on the air and I talked about my mother, and I would always end it by saying, this has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. So I said, Mama? She said, what is it, boy? I said, I'm running for state representative. She said, what is that mess? I said, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. I said, I need you to say something for me. She said, what? I said, just say something. Tell people to vote for me. I ain't got time for that. I said, Mama love money. I said, I'll give you $200. You better give me my money, boy. So you gonna give me $200? I said, yes, ma'am, Bob. I'll pay you $200. It's coming Western Union. See, okay. I said, don't talk long. Just speak from your heart. Now, this is a political announcement. So she said, hello, this is Mrs. Mamie Brown. When I raised my boys, I raised them to be good boys. When they got out of hand, I beat their behinds. Please vote for my son. He's a good boy.
Well, I tell you what, audience and everyone, Mr. Brown, we are out of time.
You're kidding.
No, I am not kidding. We may have to do a part 2 with Mr. Brown. He's got so much to say because we want to hear about the Greatness Center. We want to hear more about the Voices of Hope and training. Of course, the information is on the screen, how they can reach you, how they can speak with you. But I think we're going to have to do another broadcast with Mr. Les Brown. We have to have you back again. You are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Audience, stay tuned. We have more announcements and we'll be back. Thank you.
Here we go.